Everyone thinks they're smart with money until the questions get real. Today, you're in the hot seat. 10 investing challenges. Get them right, you inch closer to a $1 million portfolio. Get one wrong, and you reveal a blind spot that could wreck your future. Sounds easy, but only 3% survive past question 7, and just 1% reach the $1 million mark. Let's find out if you're one of them. Welcome to the Alpha Investors channel. I'm Nate, and today you're stepping onto the stage. You've got 10 levels of financial fire ahead. We'll start light, market basics and simple math, but by the final round, it's boss level stuff. Only serious investors survive. Ace all 10, and you're not just investor material, you're future millionaire certified. Miss a few? No worries. We'll break down every answer so you actually learn what matters. And hey, no cheating. Drop a comment with how far you get. Let's do this. All right, question 1 for $1,000. When you're investing in an S&P 500 index ETF, you're surely getting a market return. What is the average nominal annual return of the S&P 500 over the long term, not adjusted for inflation? Is it 5%, 10%, 15%, 20%? Time's up. The correct answer is 10%. If you got that, congrats! You just bought your first ETF like a pro. The S&P 500, made up of the 500 largest U.S. companies, has delivered about 10% per year over the long run. That includes everything: booms, busts, wars, and wild bull markets. It's not a guarantee, but it's the gold standard for long-term returns. And if you reinvest dividends and stay invested, that 10% can snowball into a life-changing portfolio. Ready for question 2? Let's climb the ladder. You've made it past the first step on our Millionaire Money Ladder, but now things get trickier with question 2 for $5,000. Let's say your portfolio drops by 50% during a market crash. Ouch. What return do you need to break even? Is it 50%, 75%, 100%, 150%? Time's up. The correct answer is 100%. If you said 50%, don't worry. That's one of the most common traps in finance. Let's do the math. $100 drops to $50. To get back to $100, you need to double your money. That's a 100% return. This is why big losses are so dangerous. A 75% drop? You'd need a 300% gain to recover. That's not just painful, it's mathematically brutal. This is why smart investors obsess over risk management, diversification, and never panic selling in a downturn. Got it right? You just leveled up your investing IQ. Let's head to question 3, and things are just heating up. Question 3 for $10,000 on the ladder. 2 questions down and you're gaining steam. But now, we hit a classic dividend dilemma, the kind that can make or break a retirement plan. Now, say a stock is paying an 8% dividend yield. Sounds tasty, right? But here's the catch. Its share price has fallen 40% over the past year. What should an investor most be concerned about? Is it the dividend yield is too low? The dividend might be unsustainable. The stock is undervalued. High dividend equals safe income. Time's up. The correct answer is the dividend might be unsustainable. Here's why. When a stock's price tanks, the dividend yield goes up. But that's not always a gift. It could be a red flag. Yield equals dividend divided by share price. So if the price crashes, the yield inflates, but the company might actually be in serious trouble. Falling earnings, weak cash flow, mounting debt, any of those could mean a dividend cut is coming. And when that happens, stock prices usually drop even more. That's why smart investors don't just chase yield, they check if the dividend is safe and sustainable. Nailed that one? You just dodged a classic trap. 7 more to go. Let's see if you've got the momentum to reach $1 million. Question 4. For $25,000 on the board, now we're stepping into the psychology of risk. Take this scenario. Investor A is playing it safe with a diversified ETF portfolio. Investor B is all in on a single high-growth tech stock. If both portfolios are down 20%, who would you say has taken more risk? Is it Investor A, Investor B, both equally? Can't tell without more data. Time's up. The correct answer is Investor B. Risk isn't just about how much you lost, it's about how exposed you were when it happened. A diversified ETF like the S&P 500 spreads risk across hundreds of companies. A single tech stock? That's concentration, and that means volatility. The ETF's 20% drop could be a normal market correction. The tech stock drop could be bad earnings, a scandal, or just pure hype deflating. So even if the loss looks the same, the risk profile is totally different. Got it right? You're thinking like a true strategist. Let's keep pushing. You're almost halfway to the million. Question 5 at $50,000. Halfway up the millionaire money ladder. Let's see if you can dollar cost your way to the top. If you consistently invest $500 per month during a bear market, when prices are falling, what is the likely long-term effect on your cost basis? Is it increases? It stays the same? It decreases? It has no effect? Time's up. The correct answer is C. It decreases. Here's why. When the market's down, you're buying more shares for the same $500. That lowers your average cost per share. That's dollar cost averaging in action. Think of it like buying your favorite stock on sale every month. Not flashy, but powerful. Over time, those low-cost shares can drive stronger gains when the market rebounds. So even when the market feels like it's crashing, your steady investing is quietly stacking future returns. Nailed that? You're halfway up the ladder and officially investing like a pro. Let's move to question 6. It only gets tougher from here. Question 6. For $100,000 on the ladder, we're talking inflation now, the silent killer of wealth. If inflation is running hot at 7% per year, how long will it take for the purchasing power of $100 to be cut in half? Is it about 5 years? About 7 years? About 10 years? About 12 years? Time's up. The correct answer is C. About 10 years. Let's break that down. We're using the rule of 72, a simple mental trick to estimate how long it takes for money to double, or in this case, halve, due to inflation. 72 divided by 7, roughly 10.3 years. That means your $100 today, it'll buy just $50 worth of goods in a decade if inflation stays that high. Ouch! Inflation doesn't just eat your wallet, it devours your future if you're not invested. That's why building wealth isn't just about growth, it's about keeping up with rising costs. If you got this one right, you're not just playing defense, you're finally playing offense. Let's head into question 7. The gap between good and great starts right now. Question 7. For $250,000, this one separates the surface thinkers from the long game legends. You've got 2 stocks. One of them is a silent climber, no dividend, but it's up 50% over the past decade. Not bad. The other one? It hasn't moved $1 in price, but it's been quietly paying out a 5% dividend every year, and you've been reinvesting every cent. So the question is, which stock has the higher total return after 10 years? Is it the dividend stock, the growth stock. Both the same. Not enough data. Time's up. The correct answer is A, the dividend stock. Here's why. That 5% dividend, when reinvested year after year, doesn't just add up, it compounds. Let's do the math. 5% annually for 10 years with reinvestment, a total return of about 62.89%. That's right. The boring dividend stock quietly beat the flashier 50% price gain. Moral of the story? In investing, what's silent in the short term can be deadly effective over the long term. Dividends aren't just income, they're a secret engine for total return. On to question 8, where only the top-tier players survive. Question 8, for $500,000. Only the sharpest investors make it this far. Let's see if you're one of them. Say you're looking to invest, but you want something that naturally spreads out your risk. Something that gives you a little bit of everything without you having to handpick 100 different tickers. Which of these options gives you the most built-in diversification? Is it VU, Tesla stock, Bitcoin, SCHD? Time's up. The correct answer is A, VU. VU tracks the S&P 500, which means you own tiny pieces of 500 of the biggest US companies, all sectors, all industries, all at once. Tech, healthcare, financials, consumer goods, it's all baked in. That's instant diversification in a single click. Compare that to Tesla, one volatile stock, or Bitcoin, one volatile asset. Even SCHD, a solid dividend ETF, but only holds about 100 companies. Still great, but not as wide. If you picked VU, you understand what it means to build a balanced portfolio. Only 2 questions left. The $1 million moment is coming. Are you ready? Question 9 for $750,000. This is where good investors stumble, and great ones know better. Here's the scenario. An investor uses the 2 times leverage on an index fund. On Monday, the index surges 20%. But on Tuesday, it tanks 20%. What happens to the investor's portfolio? Is it no impact, minus 10%, minus 16%, minus 40%? Time's up. The correct answer is C, minus 16%. Let's walk through the math. You start with $100. Monday, plus 20% on the index means plus 40% with leverage. Equals your portfolio jumps to $140. Tuesday, minus 20% index means minus 40% leveraged. You lose $56, landing at $84. That's a 16% loss, even though the index only dropped 4% overall. Welcome to the dark side of leverage. With leverage, the order of returns matters. Volatility doesn't just hurt, it multiplies your losses in ways that math makes brutal. Think you can handle that kind of heat? Then you're ready for the final boss. Question 10 is next. 1 question left for $1 million. Question 10 for $1 million. You've climbed the ladder, crushed 9 challenges, but this is where millionaires are made or broken. Here, we have 2 retirees, same starting point of $1 million, and the same annual withdrawal of $40,000. But the timing of market returns? That's where the story splits. Retiree A gets hammered with poor returns right out of the gate, the first 5 years. Retiree B enjoys solid early growth, but faces the same bad returns during the final 5 years of retirement. So who's more likely to run out of money? Retiree A? Retiree B? Both equally? It depends on inflation. Final answer. The correct choice is A, Retiree A. Welcome to the sequence of returns risk. a hidden trap most investors never see coming. When you get bad returns early in retirement, while you're pulling money out, you're forced to sell more shares at lower prices. That damage? It's permanent. Even if markets bounce back later, you have less capital left to recover. And remember, in early retirement, you still need cash for daily expenses. That means even more pressure to sell, and your portfolio shrinks even faster. But if the downturn comes later in retirement, you've already let your investments grow. You're pulling from a larger base. The impact? Much smaller. That's why smart retirees build a safety net, cash buckets, reliable income streams, or anything that lets them ride out the early storms. And if you got this right, congratulations! You just proved you're not a gambler, you're a strategist. $1 Million Mindset unlocked. That's a wrap on the $1 Million Ladder. 10 questions, 10 steps toward mastering real wealth. Nailed them all? You're ahead of the game. Missed a few? That's how smart investors grow, by learning what really matters. Drop your score in the comments, and if you're hungry for more, hit our next video.